Hello and welcome back to the final part of this little 3-part Fate game. I don't know how well we followed the rules. We tried to keep it light and not get too bogged down in these things, and I didn't put too much pressure on the players, so we just kind of were goofing around with it. So it's not like a hardcore game, but hopefully it's giving you some vague idea of how sort of the Fate system sort of works. We'll get into it in more detail in the big longer series, but I won't waste too much of your time because I know you want to get to the third and final dramatic conclusion to this weird story that we've been telling. I'll do my best to try and put together a video with some of the players to talk through the game and to explain it. We'll have a little chat about how it kind of went and how it came about, which I think will be interesting. But other than that, enjoy this part 3 and I'll see you at the end. Welcome back to this part 3, the final part of our game of Fate, the copycat hauntings. Or the copycat haunting. What did Emily just say?
Just back to handing it to back of my chair. And then I went,
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Kristian.
But it is funny.
It is funny.
And that's all that matters. If you're jumping in here for the first time to part 3, that's very strange. But you can carry on. You're welcome to try and figure out what's going on, but you might want to go back and watch part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is about the game creation and character creation. We decided to create the world that we are inhabiting, which is a slightly strange one of ghosts and clones and cat cafes. And in part 1, we kind of set up the mystery that our little team of adventurers is going to be trying to figure their way through. This is the conclusion of the story we have now. This is my channel. You can find all sorts of videos on here, me talking about what I think, so I won't waste your time introducing myself here. I'll introduce our lovely players who are...
Alex Maud.
Jacinta Hunter.
Big Hawley.
Emily Maybank.
Here we are. You may have seen some of them on other videos on this channel already, in fact. How exciting was that? Continuity, or perhaps I just have a limited group of friends who are prepared to indulge my nonsense.
And your bravery for coming back is deeply appreciated.
Yes.
Commendable. You know who you are.
And are you okay?
You know what you did. You know what you did.
Okay, as a quick reintroduction to the game. So, you are a team of semi-government sanctioned ghost hunters. Ghosts have begun appearing all over the world and it's causing quite a problem for the last few decades. The government looks to fund operations, but yours has received very little funding. So you're basically volunteers who have, some of you just sort of got dragged into it, some of you just in the wrong place at the right time. I feel it's a little bit like the professor was really keen and then Warren got dragged in, Perfidia got dragged in, and Jenny didn't really know what she was signing up for.
I just
wanted to do something. Yeah.
And I know that you have to.
Let's introduce everyone character's high concept, just to refresh everybody's memories. But
Warren is the panopticon in the chair. He's the guy who sees everything and plans everything. But not exactly the most social of individuals, and those guys can do their thing. They probably don't need my help.
Well, yes, Perfidia, me. My high concept is self-sufficient forage core, and my trouble is unsettling nonconformist brackets stinky.
that's the important part.
It's the important part. That's right.
Brackets.
Ratman.
I am the meticulous heritage enthusiast, Professor Camellia Bucket. It's spelled bouquet. I am the curator, promoter, runner of the local little Gravesmark-on-Sea Heritage Museum, and I'm very, very keen to promote this museum. It's lovely to see you again.
And
my wife, Dr. Patience Whiffsby, who we may never meet, is a patient doctor-wife spy, is my sort of key aspect there. But I will invoke if you do not bring it to the story, and that is a narrative threat.
I like to
3
think,
wife tokens here, Kristian. I'm just waiting to use them.
I like to think that she's actually just watching us all the time and none of us are aware of it.
Yeah.
She's that good.
She's hacked into the system.
She's the real
wife in the chair.
You know, it really does speak to her deep love for me that she watches me at all times and is still like, yeah, I want to be married to this woman.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything
into
else. Yeah.
I'm playing Jenny. Jenny is a wannabe influencer. She has 72 devoted followers. Or, if you know the backstory and saw the beginning of the last video, 71 devoted followers and also Warren that she bullied.
I was literally about to say
The question is, how many other people has she bullied into following? Oh no, they're all legit. The other 71 are legit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you create accounts for Jack and Juniper?
They did that all on their own.
They asked me. They begged me to let them follow me.
We limit their screen time, if they get too much screen time, they're a little bit cranky, Actually, I think that Juniper is going to be a vlogger of her own. She's going to get all these vegan recipes. She's very good at that. She's very talented. And Jack, well, he is going to be an influencer of an entirely different variety. He actually does meat grilling. So, it's really funny with, the vegan bacon and the meat grilling, and you can stop me anytime.
Who is grilling and why would you
How
want
much
to
I
meet
dislike
him?
that character is how much I like Professor.
Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you very much.
I thought they were both vegan.
They'll be whatever she says they are.
Yes, damn it.
Children are just so changeable.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't
sure.
impose anything on them. You let them explore their own.
They make their own choices.
Yeah.
Me and Tony guide them, but they are just two sweet souls.
Did you see my exhibition on the history of vegetarianism and veganism?
No, and neither did anybody else.
Get out of here, Alex Ford!
All right, well,
That's what we call a callback, friends.
your little team of ghost hunters were approached by Alice and Nigel, the owners of the local cat cafe here in Gravesend-on-Sea, where you ply your trade. Gravesmark, sorry. Gravesmark.
Actually, it's Little Gravesmark on Sea.
Little Gravesmark on Sea, where you ply your trade, and you went out to the cat cafe to see if anything strange was going on, at which point you discovered that the cats were behaving slightly unusually in the kitchen, gathering metal materials. Eventually you found your way down into a basement that the owners were not aware existed, and found another cat, possibly. An ethereal, unusual dark mass in the shape of a cat. It seemed to behave like a cat and seemed very keen on you guys interacting with a particular box that it was guarding under there, at which point you seem to negotiate with the cats and take the box away to be whatever it is you're going to do with it later.
In the woods.
So I have removed the aspect that we had last time of dozens of cats because you have left that scene, but you still have one favourite of the cats, as the cat has come with you. You spent one in order to persuade the cat that you were, don't worry, you were going to probably do what it wanted, but just not in the basement of this creepy, this creepy basement. It's more to note that you broke your way out of the basement through a door that the owners of the cafe did not know was there, had been plastered over.
And you're very welcome, Alice, Nigel.
Now you have
so
more
happy to
storage
help.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Point of order, they broke their way out.
And you are Avatar-style piloting clones for safety purposes that have become a relative normalcy here in this world. To have a clone that you can VR headset and go out into the world in and perform dangerous tasks. Now, you left up last time, you found this box, whatever it may be, some sort of puzzle box it looks to open. You had retrieved it back into your sarcophagus because it belongs in your museum.
Yes, absolutely it does.
And you had retrieved it and were leaving with this strange black cat following you. The rest of the cats had dissipated back into the cafe. Where were you taking the box? Where were you planning to go?
The woods.
Pegasus would.
Straight to the woods, not anywhere else first.
Well, if there's something fascinating in here, then
I want to get open.
yes.
As
Yeah.
Let's do it.
as we're sort of walking, I do say over comms, not through Warren Bravo, my clone, but just over comms to everyone else. Nobody actually trusts this thing, right?
But it's so darn cute.
But is it actually a cat?
Well, it seems rather unusual, and it's a piece of our history here in Gravesmark.
And the cat really wants
Yeah.
us to open it.
Yeah, all the ghosts are history. Doesn't mean that they're
All the ghosts, you say? All the ghosts?
Well, ghosts are by definition something that happened in the past.
Warren, you may just be a visionary.
Are you going to try and put all the ghosts in your museum?
No? I don't know what you're talking. This way.
Yeah, I'm going to start. Wait, did we lift up the box? It's not.
Yes, it's sizable, but you've got it in the back, so it's a bit hefty.
In my sack. It's in my sack. With swag crossed out, heritage written on it, on my back. And the little kitty cat is coming with us.
Okay.
He is following you.
So I'm going to start striding off to the woods. This way.
So it is important just to note, just in case anyone's forgotten, that the three of you, our three ladies at the table, are indeed piloting their clones. Warren has hacked his clone, so he can be the man in the chair doing his thing, whilst his clone is sort of marching alongside you, following instructions, but otherwise, not a problem solver.
I don't mind.
That's where we are. As we cut to the woods, do you have a spot in the woods? Are you going back to your camper van? You're finding a secluded area?
Well, we'll go past my camper van. I'd like to proudly point it out to everyone. I'd like to say, there's my camper van. Anyone's welcome for
lovely.
chicory tea. And then we'll keep walking because I don't want it to open it anywhere near my camper van.
I think the professor is relatively fascinated, but I think this is very much outside of Jenny's comfort zone.
This definitely reminds me of Woodstock. The photographs I've seen of Woodstock.
My heels are sinking into the mud.
Yeah, practical shoes.
Lovely.
And then we'll find like a little clearing, and there's like a river nearby. Cause I don't know. I feel like water maybe might be helpful to neutralise the metal. I don't know.
Yes. Famous ancient enemies, of course, water and metal. Rust versus pollution. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, in all the stories, running water stops supernatural things.
Mm-hmm.
Vampires don't like it.
Exactly.
Well, if there's a vampire in here, we'll be safe.
Of course not. There aren't any vampires. That would be silly.
Yes. Now let's get opening.
But there are flying horses. Well, one flying horse.
Let's get on with opening this ghost box we got from a pretend cat made of a void.
Well, obviously, that sounds perfectly reasonable.
We know that they exist.
Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'd like to have a crack at opening this sort of puzzling lock, if that's all right. But I'm totally fine with all of you wanting to stand on the other side of the river or whatever you'd like to do. I just would really like to have a go.
I really don't trust it, Professor.
Is it like a puzzle box, did we say?
It's got like a puzzling lock, hasn't it?
Like a little, sliding panels that you have to click in a certain way to open it.
Do we think we could crowdsource how to solve the puzzle?
I mean, be my guest. I'd love assistance. Yeah, certainly.
I'm going to say, you're confident you can open the box. There's going to still require a roll. However, the roll is more going to represent how well this goes for you, rather than whether you open the box or not. The box will open. The roll will represent the success of what you find inside.
Represent to what degree the box explodes.
Things are bad, yes.
Does anyone else feel a dim sense of foreboding, or just me, a grim sense of foreboding? All right, well, I'll open the box. Would anybody like to help?
I mean...
Protect me. Oh, screw it, I'll open the box. It's history. History's never had war.
Wait, 1 second. Maybe someone has seen something like this before.
All right, very well, do your thing.
Take a picture of my camera phone.
Box!
Take a picture, post it, upload it to my WordPress. Yeah. Jenny's Gems, login, password, Jack and Juniper forever.
Stopped saying your password out loud.
And does any of my wonderful followers know anything about this box? Seen anything like it? Know how to open it? Any tips and tricks? XOXO Jenny.
Yes, if you'd like to spend a fate point to invoke your high concept, then yes, I will allow a +2 or a reroll to this.
Thank you.
I don't know to what degree this is possible, but obviously we have our UV lenses and stuff that help us see slightly different spectrums of light. Do I have any kind of have I set up a network of sensors or some sort of very basic CCTV ghost CCTV, as it were. Like I basically want to see.
Like where they've got those movement sensors that kind of track a human form. Is that what you kind of mean? Like
it's basically I want to see do I have an ectomantic Geiger counter?
Like a spirit box, or not spirit box, a EKG sort of thing.
Yeah, but I basically want to see is this thing a ghost bomb, and B, is it a ghost bomb and or a ghost magnesium flare that's going to summon a ghost kraken, to mix my metaphors.
Sure. I don't know if there's a way that you definitely can be on the board for have those things ready to go. I don't think that's going to benefit the role of opening the box. That's the question. No,
okay.
At least I can't think of a way. If you can think
No.
a useful way then.
I am going to introduce an aspect that I have had in the back of my head, and I'm not entirely certain how relevant this is, but I call this aspect, my parents are out of town on business. Which basically means that I envision that Warren lives in a big house, on the outskirts of town, because his parents are very, very rich and have very well-paying jobs, but they're always away.
Okay.
So, he, as a result of these
Party
jobs...
at Warren's house?
Yeah. Well, yes, definitely.
Warren does not like the
because
party
that's
at Warren's house.
because yes, it's
Sure.
Musling, party of one, and it's so
Land party at Warren's house.
yeah, exactly, of one. So he has money, and
I've got money, but I don't like to talk about it.
They probably don't need it.
no, but so that's how he's been able to afford a lot of his custom kit and custom tech and stuff.
Sure.
So, simply because you mentioned the sort of superhero aspect, with the subdermal.
Do you want a bat cave?
Sorry, I was going to say I do. Can I have a miniature bat cave that I can connect to? Doesn't have to be a Bruce Wayne scale bat cave, but
yeah, man, you've got a home. You've definitely got a home system.
I have a home chair.
Yeah,
essentially.
Sure. I'm not sure where you're going with this, so you're going to need to leave me there.
Yeah, no, it's I want to send a signal back to the Warren cave.
Okay.
The Bat Warren, surely.
Yes, Bat Warren. Yeah, no, that's better.
With the Rat Man and the Batman?
Yeah.
I want to send a signal back to the Bat Warren to basically sound the alarm to the to our superiors.
Sure.
To the government to the Ghost HQ, the
feds.
The feds, yeah.
The
The GGG, the government ghost getters.
The Bureau oh no, not the Bureau de
G3.
G3, the government ghost getters.
Yeah. I want to basically link up to the Bat Warren and basically if at the press of a button I want to be able to sound the alarm. Someone just dropped a ghost nuke,
Right, sure.
Yeah. Do I need to spend?
No, that's something that you can have.
feel
That's a connection that you would logically have.
Okay,
We're
fine.
a great group of people who are perfectly capable of doing this on our own. Do we really need government agencies to...
No, I don't,
It's a box.
Sure, just a just a box.
It's
Nothing
just
bad
a
ever
box.
nothing bad ever comes out of nothing bad ever comes out of a box. Ask Pandora.
Oh, I really like that radio station. Y'all, no, the website doesn't work over here, does it? It's all blocked by the VPNs or something.
Their bracelets over here,
I
dear.
missed
If only,
it.
Ugly
if only we had a
bracelets.
VPN sponsor that
The
we could
No.
we could push right now.
No, VPNs don't block.
Is there anything, Ratman, that you could do to aid me in this box opening or protect me? I mean, these are your woods.
Well, I did read the brochure on locks and...
Well, of course, on historical locks and closements. As if I keep saying it, it will become a word.
Yes.
I'll allow, because if
No, I
you've
do
got
know
something
the woods,
about
yes.
living in the woods, yes,
Yeah.
if you wanted to spend on to have found a particularly mystical, or one that you believe is a particularly mystical area of protection.
Oh, yes.
within the
Yeah,
woods.
completely. Yeah, I'll do that, yeah.
You guys don't know if it's necessarily, is magical, but Perfidia is very convinced that this is a magical glen, and it is very pretty, very beautiful. It does have the stream running along one side, and the kind of a little bit of a, as you look at it from the outside, a little bit of a mushroom circle.
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
As you step in, it kind of like it's harder to distinguish, but from outside you can see it. It's like, oh, look at the turn, like,
Don't-
oh yeah, and as you step in, it's like, oh,
Don't
it's-
step in the mushrooms.
it seems to like it's like a mirage. Like sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't.
Also, if you look carefully, there are some possible hoof prints.
Like heavy ones if something just landed.
Yeah.
There are some possible hoof prints, unless there aren't.
Screw this box. I want to look for these hoof prints. I want to use all those aspects. Right. So to get this clear, I roll and then I decide which aspects I want to tag. Is that right? Or which
Well, you have the +4 from
advantages?
that.
I've got a +4.
So they've both already spent the fate point. I've accepted the fate point
Thank
because I
you,
think you
thank
might
you.
just as much as possible.
Yep.
It's going to be good for you.
Yep, I think you're probably right. But if this ends up low, can I also tag an aspect after? Or should I do
Yes.
it now? Okay.
And you can add one of your skills to it, however you are trying to do this. I imagine careful is the best way, but you may choose another option if you would like.
I was thinking clever, just because I would like to. I mean, it's a complicated puzzle box,
Sure.
so just using this to be sort of like just to figure it out in the simplest way possible. So minimal jiggling, minimal sort of minimal time taken where it can't burst open, just in a really smart way. Does that make sense?
No.
Or is
Makes sense.
nonsense? Okay,
No,
lovely.
no.
All right,
It
so
is a puzzle.
I'm getting clever. Okay, it's a 0. +3 is a 3.
+4.
+4 is a 7.
Okay, I'm going to go by the ladder again. So that is an epic success.
Oh, right. Ooh.
So,
Question.
Yes.
Does the professor look... does Camilla...
Camellia.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Um,
It's a flower.
Does Camellia look like she's struggling with this?
I
not at
don't
all.
think-
She's succeeding.
Camille's very
epically.
confident they can open the
Epically,
puzzle
yeah.
box.
In fact, if I tag an aspect, does that put it over the legendary level?
I think so.
If you want to spend it. If you can think of one that is relevant.
I just think I'm torn. I just really want my patient Dr. Wife Spy to be there. Is that okay with you, Kristian? If she's just like, you said she was watching all the time, could she just be in the
Looks out from the
branches,
tree.
like watching with tiny binoculars, ready to save me if something goes wrong? Oh, you're like,
I'm going to do it a different way, but yes, I'll
Okay.
allow it.
Thank
I'll allow
you.
it.
Okay.
her name is
The-
Dr. Patience Whiffsby, or at least
So-
that's the code name she gave in a panic.
The,
like 1970 when we first met.
my name is Wife Spy Whiffsby.
My name is Dr. Patience Whiffsby.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I-
he was like, tell me more.
I am doctor,
Can
but I
I...
am patient. And oh no.
Whiffsby, you say.
Um,
She only expects it to be like a 6-month mission, but they've just fallen so deep in love that she keeps calling the Kremlin like, oh yes, I've found suspicious activity. I will need another 6 months.
She's a Soviet sleeper agent who doesn't realise the Soviet Union dissolved. Sorry, I just wanted to say that the reason I asked if you were struggling was whether Warren would see that you were struggling and then decide that they probably don't need my help.
Ooh, no, I think I'm good.
Just nope out.
Sorry?
Just nope out.
Well, no, as in like see that you're struggling and like, oh no, I shouldn't interfere. So I
Well,
was
You can only invoke a trouble if it causes whatever's happening to fail.
oh, to fail, right?
Then,
okay.
then you get the point. You can
Right.
roleplay it as much as you like, but you only get the fate point if, because of you invoking it, it causes everything to
Right,
causes the
right,
current
okay.
action to fail.
Okay,
So
then
you can screw over and over.
yeah, no, I was thinking like
Yeah, it has. It's an absolute failure.
right, yeah, no, then never mind. Again, I'm
Cool.
just standing back, like
Yeah.
Not with my legendary thing, which I suspect will
So-
still get me a little bit possessed.
So
Whiffsby.
you guys head out to this. Perfidia leads you up to this glade with the mysterious mushroom circle and the beautiful in the moonlight with the stream and everything else. As you can like, this is a safe spot. She can like lead you out. You're kind of like she just kind of whether your character interprets this as like a mystical place or whether you just Perfidia leading you around a small glen until she finds like, yes, this is the safest spot of this patch of grass.
Knocking on trees, sniffing the moss.
Yes,
But there's an energy to the place. It does seem to be helpful. But as you kind of go, okay, you set the box down, kind of rubbing your hands, there's a sudden nearby, and it's kind of this sound of a motorcycle approaching. And just on the edge of the clearing, just in the woods, just this motorcycle just pulls up, and this very tall woman in the full leathers kind of gets off. And just kind of undoes the helmet, pops it off, and it is a patient who
My darling!
begins walking over and says, "Yes, you called me."
Oh, I would just wondered if you'd... Hello, darling. I give her a quick kiss on the cheek and say, are you all right, darling? You seem a little cold.
What? No, you called.
Yes,
it
of
sounded
course,
very
sorry.
disturbed,
Sorry.
and they were talking about cats.
Yes,
Did you mean to call, or did it butt dial again?
Darling, I'm terribly sorry. But look at this. I'm opening a really exciting box. It's historical. Come look.
The wife spy who came in from the cold.
And I show her the box. I'm very, very excited. And I've already, don't you dare, I've already like opened the box mostly, and then it's just the last catch. I want to sort of share it with her. I also, Kristian, I just want to say the fact that her descriptors are like tall, buff, motorcycle queen. You do know me. Like just this cool woman framed by the moonlight steps away and is buff and strong, and I'm like,
I'll say off the group, Warren's immediate thought is, how did she know where you were?
oh, she just is very.
She just always seems to know.
She's just very quick. She's very quick. She's got that guppus thing on her motorcycle. The guppus?
Goodness, yeah.
The positioning placement?
GPS.
Yes, the guppus.
And she comes in to
It's an initialization,
what looks
not
like
an
to give you
acronym.
I know how to spell it.
what looks like to give you a hug, but does give you a bit of hug, but also she puts her hand into her back pocket, takes your phone out, and hangs up the call the entire time, puts it back in your back pocket, kisses you on the head, and is just like, okay, well, I'm here now.
Hooray! Everybody, this is my darling wife, Patience Whiffsby.
We know.
Yes, I have seen you
And
in.
Patience.
I have seen you in passing.
I'm afraid you might have run over some mushrooms, but it's okay.
Just going to glance back to the makers. Okay.
All right, I open the box.
And she kind of looks at what you're doing and just like goes in the pocket, takes out a little mini toolkit that unfurls and takes out a couple of like little. It looks like there's little tiny thin little pokey tools for like, what could these be for? And she takes a couple off and just says, just like sewing kit. And then it's like gives you a couple of little hooked things. Just maybe just like use these on box, just a safety thing. It could be.
Thank you, darling.
And just like to manipulate the puzzle pieces with these lock picking tools.
I was going to say, I like to think that Warren definitely knows their lock picking tools and just doesn't say anything.
These are little sugar cube carriers. You hook this cube and then you put it in your tea. Hook the cube, put it in your tea.
And then she just stands to your side and just kind of like pulls. And you guys kind of stood behind her as she kind of like tucks the back of her leather, and you kind of can see a vague shape in the back of her dress. You're like, something's just poking out there. It's just tucked into the back.
The end of a shotgun handle,
Yeah.
several pistol
Something
handles.
just underneath the leather.
I think I'm in love with her.
Right? You should have spent an aspect on having a hot wife. I'm sorry. This is why.
I didn't realise it was that easy.
Welcome to Fate, my first and favourite table.
I can invoke a hot wife.
Yeah.
Of course, the real question
As
is...
the cat sits at your side, as Patience kind of looks down at it and just takes a half step away from it.
Fair enough.
Curiosity. As you take a moment with the tools to click all the puzzle pieces out, and they fold around and slide, just a classic puzzle box style to release this seam. And then as you click the last piece in, it's kind of it's a gentle click as it separates slightly. And then you put the tools underneath and lift the whole thing up. And there's a slight kind of gust, it's like kind of slight mist just kind of rolling out as it like dry fog just kind of rolls out over the side, ever so slightly just kind of over and dissipates onto the ground beneath as it pulls open, and inside are a series of small metallic looking pieces, just like some thin ones, some chunky ones, some round parts, and just like little ball bearing-y parts. Just a collection of, it looks like it's just thrown in there. It's a collection of metallic-y looking pieces, quite roughly made, nothing smooth.
Puzzle, obvious.
But yeah, just like a little
Jigsaw
weird
puzzle.
little Meccano-y set of something.
Great, I immediately try to construct it into something.
So you reach into the box, and as soon as you reach inside, the piece that you're reaching for kind of twitches and starts bouncing around, and then the other pieces start bouncing as well. And you look to the cat, but the cat's gone. And these pieces kind of bounce their way up and out of the box onto the ground as they their power of them sort of knocks the box over.
Hey, that's history!
Can I grab one?
Yeah.
You can try.
I'm going to try and grab one as well.
Yes, you guys are kind of fighting it as the pieces that you've got is kind of like shaking about in your hand from some other force as the other pieces start to piece themselves together.
Brilliant.
And you realise that they aren't bones, but they almost have the form of creating a skeleton of like a cat, just piecing itself, just this skeletal cat made out of this alien metal that appears to be forming itself on the ground. Does anybody want to do anything?
I've still got a piece.
You've still got a piece, yeah. It's
I've
kind
got a
of
piece.
you can feel it pulling towards this cat skeleton.
Did you see my exhibition on alien cat skeletons?
No, and neither did anybody else.
I would take a slight step back with patience and say, "Have you ever seen anything like this before, darling?"
She's got one hand down the back of her jacket. just takes your hand. Just takes a slightly defensive stance, just in front of you.
All right.
Do I?
Not worry.
I'm gonna get the T-Rex grabber out.
Yes.
Do I see any hieroglyphs on the box?
As Bruce. Not Bruce. I keep calling you Bruce because I want to say Bravo. It's confusing the hell out of me. Warren Bravo.
Yeah. Well, that's Warren. I'm Warren Alpha. So
You instruct Warren Bravo to look into the box, and he looks in, and yes, you can see hieroglyphs carved on the inside of this box. Very, very clear Egyptian motif of some kind.
Can I find out everything I know about Egypt and cats? As a historian, I would know stuff, right?
Yeah. You start rattling through your knowledge on the subject.
Thank you.
Just in your head, and occasionally muttering something out loud as this thing. You guys hold on to your pieces as they start really pulling against you.
Good or bad? Egypt cats, good or bad? Death, life, good or bad?
I'm gonna ask for a roll because it is starting to pull as the thing starts to fully form. It starts to pull with some force.
I'd like to try and get mine in the river.
Okay. So you're gonna over just dunk your hands in the river.
See what happens.
Cats hate water.
cats hate water.
What's Jenny doing?
I mean, my instinct is just keep it here. But if I see you doing that, I probably would do the same thing because I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So you see Perfidia running over to the water, and you think, oh, maybe that's a good idea. Start following.
I'm doing it forcefully.
Yes.
I think forceful or quick are kind of the only two options
I'm
here.
going to do mine forcefully as well. So
All right, so make a forceful roll. I'm going to, because the cat skeleton has already started forming, I'm going to set a difficulty of 4 on this one, I think.
I feel like I can't let go.
It's not impossible.
I'm committed.
Sorry, did you say skull or full skeleton?
Thank you, I trust you.
Skeleton.
Skeleton.
Like a full skeleton.
Thank you.
Mime hold this for me.
Oh look.
Put you back into it, Alex. This is storytelling magic here.
4. If it meets it, does it?
It's a failure, but you can succeed with a consequence.
Okay, well, it is a 4 because I got a +1 and I have a +3 in forceful, so it's a +4. I'll take it back now.
There you go.
Thank you.
You could also tag an aspect, couldn't you, to make it a success, just at the cost of a fate point?
Oh, well, I mean,
If you can think of it, also, if you can think of an aspect that would be helpful in this instance.
I mean, she is a stubborn Southern woman. Have you ever tried to give a kid a bath who doesn't want to get in the bath?
Yeah. Never mind 2 kids at the same time who've eaten nothing but lentils.
You got one on each hand, and they're just going in.
So you have currently have a tie.
Can I make an aspect that's just like stubborn mama bear?
That's
something like that.
Yeah. You've had to wrestle.
Yeah, that's
a toddler before.
Yeah.
2 of them.
At the same
definitely should spend your fate points before you get to the end boss. That's what I'm saying.
I have no regrets about summoning my wife.
Oh yeah, no. She's
regrets.
nothing but help, I'm sure.
Yeah,
100%.
She is.
There is no negative help. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, you succeed.
Ooh.
So
That's pretty good.
plus 1 and then plus 2. So
Ooh, that is currently a failure, I'm afraid.
can I spend something?
If you've got something that you think you can invoke.
Well, I'm very good at pulling up stubborn weeds.
Oh.
So maybe it's given me some pulling strength.
Do you have any aspects available?
I live in the woods.
I was going to say, you live in the woods.
I don't think that's going to necessarily help you there, but if you've got an aspect that you haven't filled in yet, you could
I
take.
do an aspect out from in here.
What would that be? That would
you
be.
Live, you live in the woods, so you know exactly where the river is.
Exactly. It's there.
I am drawn to nature.
Yeah, I'm like I'm like drawn to. No, I'm not drawn towards it.
And I was thinking some because if you're going with the weeds analogy, because you probably shouldn't really have cared for things.
Yeah.
Some sort of hardcore gardener.
Yeah.
Hardcore gardening
Yeah, exactly.
could be your final aspect.
Great.
And yeah, you may spend a fate point to succeed here instead.
Great. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Deeply horrified by the fact there's a final boss. I think that's just settling in on me.
Oh, I don't know that. I'm just saying out loud. Just thinking out loud.
Everyone else hear that? Yeah, everyone else heard that.
No, that's just a trope. It's nothing. It's fine.
We
Yeah,
said at the beginning that we're not going to solve this with violence. We're not hurting
Yeah,
a cat.
exactly. I've been trying to remember that.
yeah, as the two of you run over and plunge your hands in this piece, and you, as soon as it's in the river, it struggles a bit, but then it just stops. Isn't it? And you sort of. Do you want to look? It seems to not be, at least while it's underwater, at least not be under any kind of influence.
If we pull it back up, does it start? I want to carefully
wanna
pull it back up whilst enclosing it, just to like pull it just above the water line to see if it starts shaking again.
It doesn't.
Interesting.
You seem to have neutralised whatever the effect was. However, you've only got 2 of the bones, and most of this cat skeleton has still formed. It appears to be gaining some kind of life to it.
Everyone get the cat.
Right, I grab the box, I ask patience, and I'm going to try and scoop the cat with the box into the water.
Sure. So the cat turns to you as you're kind of scooping, goes, and as you go to scoop, it's going to try and get away. So this is going to be an opposed roll. It's going to make a run for it.
Right.
I'll allow your wife to give you a bonus.
Thank
So
you.
she can give you either a +2 or a re-roll at the end of your roll if you would like to.
Thank you. I think I'm being forceful about this.
I'm gonna just add the scene aspect of
Wife.
Patience Whiffsby.
Dr. Patience
Whiffsby.
Whiffsby.
Dr. Patience Whiffsby, sorry.
She is a doctor
Yes.
as well.
No, she earned that doctorate.
FSPY.
She earned that possibly fake doctorate.
I like the idea that it started fake, but then as she got more into the role,
Dr.
she
Patience
qualified with the Open University.
The old,
She was like, "Oh crap,
the
it's
old,
getting real now. I probably have something to
People
back this up."
asking me for medical advice. I don't know
the,
anything.
the old
WebMD is
Kubrick
me.
did fake the moon landing, but he was so meticulous he demanded to do it on location.
All right, I'm going to invoke my wife. I'm going to do this forcefully
Right.
to try and scoop this cat into the water.
I'm going to roll, and I'm going to.
Oh,
I think I'm going to add 5 to this because this cat is surprisingly strong.
Oh no.
I would like to go and help, but I trip over a tree root with my impractical shoes and I fall.
Okay.
And I hit against the box and it goes everywhere.
Okay. Don't tell her.
I want to fake
Hey,
right back down.
Hey, you never know, I might roll a -4.
Hate to break it to you, Vic, but your oh no was not the best poker face.
This isn't poker, it's fate. Right, I'm at a straight 0.
Well, I'll roll and see what I get. So I only got +1, so I'm only at 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Be safe,
Okay. So this is the joy of fate, right? So I got a 0 with my +2, and then with Dr. Patience Wispy, my beautiful wife, I'm at a +2. I only need 4 more to lose or 5 more to win. I could.
Or you can succeed with a serious cost or a major cost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot. Yeah.
It's always an option when you fail that you can see. So either if you tie, you can succeed at a minor cost, or if you fail, you can instead succeed at a major cost.
That's 4 points of cost, isn't it? So that would be a moderate consequence.
It could be.
I think it's probably pretty important this
Or-
girl doesn't get away.
Mm.
Yeah,
If
all
Jenny's
right.
going to scupper things.
Are you going to scupper things? Scupper away.
I don't need the scupper.
You can scupper if you want.
I just want to know what happens, man.
Okay, why don't you scupper so I don't have to take a moderate consequence?
So Jennifer runs over and is like, "Oh, a cat's getting away!" Just immediately, just on the wet riverbank, your shoes are just stuck right in. You come straight out both of your shoes and just fly through the air and just impact straight into the back of Patience, who impacts into the back of Camellia, and the box just scatters as the cat just
Oh my god.
scampers off, tears off into the distance.
It tries to.
Ooh. Okay, you're going to take as the cat as get away that it cannot be gotten into the box anymore. But if you have another plan,
I do. I am once again going to crew the skeletons.
okay.
It's got sprays.
Sorry, they've got sprays, but that's not what I'm going for. Due to the biomechanical nature of these clones, and due to the fact that they are essentially goo, like solidified goo, I would like to spend a fate point to say that I modified one of my clone's arms to stretch like Mr. Fantastic.
I love the superhero things. Yeah, cool.
And I am going to attempt to be quick, with gamer reflexes and like
Do the double half A press, come on.
and like whoop and like grab it by the tail leg or
I'm
something.
going to keep the cat's agility as 6, as that's what I've rolled for the previous one as well. So we're going to keep with the 6.
Okay.
So you're doing just one of the kind of an element that you're going to put inside of it that's partly mechanical and partly just kind of just the manipulation of the bioengineering, as you said. Just kind of claps into place and just extends forwards wildly. You've only done tests in the lab, but yeah, it can work well.
In fact, I'll modify it slightly. It's almost like half super stretchy, half grappling hook.
Right, yes. Cool. So make a roll.
Okay.
You may modify it after the roll if there's anything you can think
Sure.
to be useful.
So this is so I just roll these and add my quick.
Add your quick. You need to beat 6.
Okay. This that needs to be all pluses on the die.
Come on, you can do it.
Not a bad start.
Not bad. It's +2.
Mm-hmm.
+2 again, which is a total of 4.
So you only need to tie. You only need an extra 2.
And what does tying mean?
Tie means you succeed. You can choose
Minor.
to succeed with a minor cost.
I would like to suggest an aspect.
Sure. I already know what the minor cost is going to be in my head.
Sure. But I would like to suggest an aspect. Comic books are my only friends.
Okay.
And
Like you've been thinking about this moment.
like those those stories and those sort of superhero inspirations gave me hope and made me feel special when I felt like a lonely outcast.
So you've really put extra thought into this moment, and you're really kind of determined. Just the sheer nature of this.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I'll allow it. So yeah, create
So
that
that-
aspect and spend a fate point to add to his roll. So you have succeeded at a minor cost. So you're like, this is awesome, and I'm gonna get it. You've got the aim right. You've practiced this over and over again on various video games, and in your mind as the arm extends out, as the cat bounces around, and the fingers even extend slightly and form like a kind of a cage and grab onto it, and you capture the cat inside these kind of stretched cage fingers, and then the arm locks in place and goes. The arm and the hand are not going to retract.
Yeah, that's fair.
You have caught the cat, but this is you now. You now have a 15-foot arm with a finger cage at the end, with this cat inside it kind of shaking about.
Yes.
Help.
Darling, the box! I'm going to get up, help Jenny up, and then we're going to hurry over and see if we can put the box over his fist, maybe. I know it's not going to close, but
you're sort of like banging the box against the hand. Like, yes, you can release the cat now.
I'm going to try and make my way towards the river, dragging my absurd arm behind me.
Well,
like some sort of crippled Mr. Tickle.
Well, we have the box. You said there were hieroglyphs in the middle, inside it.
Yes.
Could I translate the hieroglyphics?
Sure.
And see what they say? Is that all right? Do you think that's something I could reasonably?
I think that's something that you would know well enough, or at the very least you can kind of research it.
My wife's very good with codes of all sorts as well, so I don't know if you're just really good at the cryptic crossword. I want to know what the hieroglyphs say, if that's okay.
Sure. So they seem to be some, as best as you can tell, because you're not fluent in it or anything. But it seems to be, particularly because you've been reading a lot about cults and stuff lately, some kind of story of binding. Like they were but telling a tale of trapping something, as best as you can tell. Whether it has significance or it's just a story, you don't know.
I see. I suspect it probably does, considering that there was something caught in here that we've let loose.
Yeah.
Does it give any hints as to the danger? Sorry.
No,
does it give any hints to the danger?
Quite a bit more research than you can do in this field right now.
Fair enough.
But you know where you can look up the translation, more specific translation things.
Okay.
Woods, not field.
Well, in this clearing, Glenn.
Who's Glenn?
He's the guy who owns the. He's been stood in the corner this whole time, being like, "This is my Glenn, guys. This is my little cops.
This is Glenn's Glenn.
Hi, Glenn.
He's a cop.
When did the cops come into this?
The cops of Glenn's Glen.
Places like cops, and no one said there would be cops.
Yeah, the cops of Glen's Glen. They're experts in their field.
Hey,
Very good.
we just said it wasn't a field. Also, we need to stop because Jacinta is losing the will to live. Look at her eyes and tell me.
I love it.
You all made your choice.
Would like to remember that I have a saucepan on my head.
Oh yeah!
That's it. That's the line of the session.
And I would like to pick up some water from the river and start running towards the cat.
Sure. Yeah. So
with the intention of pouring it on.
halfway and chuck the water as Warren Bravo drags his 50-foot arm behind him because doesn't seem to have much control of it anymore. Kind of swings it around and you chuck
again.
water
It's just kind of a very like ineffectual help.
Yeah.
Help.
Yeah.
As like some sort of malfunctioning Slender Man.
He's like Slendy, but he's in alpha.
As you kind of chuck the water and you can see the cat hiss up at you, but it just kind of freeze a little bit in place as the water kind of hits it. So that does seem to be viable as you got to get chucking more water on it as the rest of you kind of grab his arm and push it round.
I would like to use my other hand, my normal hand or my normal arm, and I would like to sort of look to my companions, and I would like to deploy the spray bottle. And I would like to just start spritzing the cat skeleton.
Yeah, spraying it and chucking pounds of water over it and slowly dragging it into the river. Eventually it kind of solidifies in place and just is almost like this metallic statue of this cat with a couple of bones missing from its kind of form. And it's kind of frozen there, hissing up at you.
So what is the story behind this cat?
Fill
Patience
the box
looks
with
over.
water,
Patience
fill
looks
the
over
box
yours,
with water.
and Patience looks over you all and just turns to you and says, "This is unusual for you, da."
Yes, yes, this is very
Just
unusual.
checking. Just I don't always know what you're doing at work, but this
Damn,
seems
you
odd.
must come by the museum sometime. I keep telling you. I come by the ward enough.
That's okay. That's okay. I keep eye.
This is,
Uh,
yes, you do, my darling. This is very unusual. Usually the things that I want to put in the museum don't tend to object strongly or in such a feline way. No, this is very unusual indeed. Can I have a really close look at the cat? Now it's sort of solid and have an inspect. Obviously, I'm not with my... Oh, well. Right, sign in the books. Camelia's close just goes, whoomp. I'm off to research.
Box, water, please.
You can yell. We're in the library together. Like I'm gonna use the clones and.
Patience is like, oh yeah, I almost forgot.
I presume this is a patient's clone as well.
No, this is her.
This is real patient.
My real
I
wife
was
is
gonna
here.
say, I had that question. I was wondering.
that. I was like, I don't know.
Why is my
Patience
real
alpha.
wife in such danger? Oh, she loves me so much.
I feel like
Yes,
this,
so killed.
I feel like as soon as the professor just like slumps, I turn to Whiffsby and just go, wait. You don't know what she does for work.
Not always. Seems confusing. She works on many things.
If there were a camera, Warren would be looking into it.
I love that so much.
Do you think that Patience is a clone made by the Russian government?
I do now.
I just love the idea of you all being like, so you're a spy, right? Yeah. And then Camellia like comes back into her clone to just see her 3 friends dead with little darts. She's like, what happened? And Patience is like, the cat.
It's fine. They not remember thing in morning.
You just tranquilized with Soviet dart.
They forget necessary things.
Soviet neurotoxin.
I told them to take 2 and call me in the morning.
So, of course, a communist cat would be Sergeant Mao, but
This metallic, almost statue of a cat skeleton. There's not.
clicked.
Now that it's frozen, it just looks like a solid piece of metal, just in this weird cat skeleton shape. It's not a perfect cat skeleton by any stretch of imagination. It's almost like a child's kind of clay model of one. It's very rough and ready.
But it's metal.
Yeah, it looks to be. As you can tell.
Is the metal recognizable?
Did you have sudden metallurgy skills?
You got a spare aspect, do it.
No. I do, but, like sometimes you can immediately tell if the metal is greenish, so it's copper.
It's pretty solid and relatively heavy. It could be, some sort of iron, or even like if it's it's dull, but it's got some shine to it. It could be silver of some kind. You're not really sure. You don't really know metals.
Sure, no, that's fine. I was just curious.
Did the ghost cat run away at this point?
It was just suddenly gone.
Right.
Ghost
we
cat's
didn't
definitely-
see it.
None of you
I feel
noticed where it
like
went.
we didn't see it go away. It's just
Yeah.
it's not
It's
there.
definitely in the
Okay.
metal thing.
Yeah, I feel like
It's definitely in the metal thing.
that's probably right.
Can I, with the ghost cat statue, give it a little scratch?
Yeah, just
Can
scratch.
I?
Feels a bit
Just
weird to
dreamy.
scratch the metal with your fingernail.
Uh-huh.
You can kind of doesn't take anything. It's inert.
I thought that was going to be the key to
Maybe,
everything.
maybe we should give it its other 2 bones back.
You can see
It's
you
a
can
cat,
see where
not a
they
dog.
fit on it. If you sort of examine it, you can see where those 2 bones you've got look like they probably fit on the model.
Camelia's going to come back like, and the last thing you should never do is to construct the cat. Oh,
Yeah. I'd like to give mine back. I feel bad.
So what are you looking up?
I am looking up anything to do with ancient Egyptians, cats, local history, and maybe so obviously we didn't have ancient Egyptians here, but we definitely had like a big boom in the 1930s with people being really fascinated by ancient Egyptian stuff, thanks to Howard Carter, and like the 50s door, it kind of vibes with that, but also like this ancient box with like the filigree. That's a cool like mix of different cultures. So basically I'm looking up anything to do with any ancient Egyptian connection to little graves mark on sea, or what like the beliefs were about cats and the afterlife, because I know there were some things. You said that I had a vague understanding that cats were in mythology.
Sure.
For the Egyptians.
So what you personally may well know about this subject is kind of what you find out. There's definitely a connection between cats as either kind of guides or protectors, or even like guards almost of the dead to some degree. It does vary slightly here and there. And you may, in fact, yourself know more about this than I do.
Possibly not. Very much not my period, but I'm very much enjoying learning it.
But yes, no, there's definitely.
Sorry to the specific friend of mine who is a professor of Egyptology. Sorry, Ed.
Sorry.
I definitely am not, so I will be very as vague as I need to be.
Ed, share this video around all your Egyptology friends and laugh at us, and then get them all to follow Kristian's channel.
Yes.
Thanks, Ed. What?
So there's definitely a connection there.
Why are all Egyptologists definitely Cockney?
I don't know why.
Because they're all experts on being geezer.
Very good.
Not that good.
No. So I'll put my. Is there anything about cults? You mentioned that we knew sort of. We still didn't ascertain the ownership.
There's no
of this
logical reason to assume that there's a
basement.
connection between whatever this cat thing is and that location. It's presumably. You best as you can ascertain, if that is some sort of cat activity, it might just be a source of power of some kind, and the cat thing is separate. There's no reason to assume that there was some ancient Egyptian connection here. It's possible, but there's not. There's no reason to assume that. It could just be that the box was brought there for its whatever power that place holds, that other people in the past have also been utilising.
So the best of my knowledge from what I can research, it is cats are basically shepherds and guards of the dead to get their souls to the underworld or the afterlife. And this thing, like it seems to have been contained by the ancient Egyptians. It seems to have been locked down by them. Are there any suggestions that it could be there are sinister cats?
It depends on your perspective. There's an element of the cats
style cat villains
guarding,
or like servants of Set or something.
Yes, or there's elements that seems to tie into this that you can see that of cats that were kind of guarding the gates of the afterlife to keep souls in or keep them from causing.
So this might be a little guardian
havoc.
kitty.
Did we just do the wrong thing?
Is that my best guess? The little guardian kitty?
Could be.
Okay. Can I?
How it got there, but you could definitely, when you were in the basement, you definitely could see that box had been dragged into that room. There was drag marks on the ground.
We never checked where they were dragged from, did we?
No, I was going to say two things. I feel like that in like again in Warren, on one of Warren's side monitors, he's like trying to do a scan of either just a Google or if he has access to local archives, like. Are there any newspapers that, of headlines of, I don't know, X number of years ago, Egyptology expedition comes to Little Graves Mark on Sea or something. And the other thing is that I feel like Warren has spent the last 5 minutes, Warren Bravo, that is, much like an incredibly long bit of rope. He keeps trying to sort of walk forward towards the arm to grab it, but every time he goes forward, it kind of just keeps going round, and he's just been going round in this massive circle.
Of the irony of his own arm becoming a cat toy for him.
Yes, so you can find that there's a museum in a local city or nearby city. That's someone that you probably write to quite a lot, but they never write back.
Cretins.
Very dismissive of you.
They
they were
don't know true
reportedly going to have a big Egyptology exhibit, but then it just didn't open. And then everyone was like, well, they obviously it was just fake advertising. They lied to kind of boost their numbers, just little bit of it was all nonsense. They were just pretending they were going to have some of this big reveal, but then the exhibit never opened, and no one really knows why. They just sort of stopped talking about it.
Professor?
Yes?
I think you might want to look at this. And I again, sort of just still in the headset and I just minority report the screen to the side so that the professor can clearly
Can you make
see.
the font larger? Right.
So yeah, you vaguely recall the story because it was quite embarrassing for the museum and you don't like them. You're like...
They call themselves a museum.
Yeah. Can't even exhibit.
But yeah, there's a lot of speculation as to what happened, as to whether they were just lying or whether something went wrong with the exhibit or...
Do I have a contact number for this museum?
I imagine so,
regularly?
yes.
Great, right, I'm gonna...
It's on a card somewhere at home.
Yeah. Fair enough. In that case, I'll come back, I'll share what I've learned. And if this is true, then it's very possible that this is a guardian spirit that's been separated from the thing it's trying to guard.
Oh.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to say that you guys reconvene. I'm going to say at your house, seeing as your wife is here also.
Lovely.
Reconvene at your house. Drop the clones off back at the library base.
She's buff and strong. She can help carry the heavy cat.
Yes, and you sort of negotiate the arm. You work on the arm later and fix that up. But yeah,
we walk you, and then we put the arm on the sidecar of the motorcycle. So she just drives very slowly. Chugga chugga chugga.
And then all the clones have their own little, almost like locker, and Warren's just doesn't quite close properly, and just the arm, you just see the arm hanging out.
With the cat still in it.
Yeah, it's just close enough.
Where you reconvene back at the professor's house, where Patience begins making you tea, and also brings out a tray of shots just for everyone. Assuming you all needed a bit of a pick-me-up.
Thank you, darling. I give her a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, she gives you back, and you're back in your regular human bodies now, your regular selves. As the professor and Warren info dump upon you. And you sit now with this cat that you've pried out the fingers apart, so you've got this cat statue effectively. Or you can put it back in the box if you would like, but you have this thing there.
Did this article say about this Egyptology exhibit say anything about come and see the sarcophagus of Pharaoh Jim Bob,
It just said something along the lines of newly uncovered artifacts that have recently been procured by the museum. It was sort of vague, which is why people think maybe they were lying.
Right.
What time is it about? I know we set off to do this during the night. Is it sort of...
It's pretty late now, I'm assuming. You're trying to moving about, so it's, morning is going to approach at some point.
No time like the present. I'm going to dial the number that I've got of this haughty curator. Brilliant.
Just rings a bit before you hear
I very slowly draw the shot towards myself.
In fact, does anybody want to talk instead of me? I think I might get a little bit irritated. Jenny, do you want to give this a go?
What are we trying to
So here's a terrible curator of an awful museum.
Hello.
I just need you to
Hello.
call up as if you're intrigued.
Hello.
Sorry, I'll hang up. Just call up as if you're intrigued, and I need you to get as much detail as possible about the specific exhibits that were going to be in that Egyptian exhibition.
All right,
I'll redial the number.
I'll
redial the number.
Yeah, that works.
So it's
3 hours later.
4 or 5 in the morning at this point. It's crazy early. And somehow, through all of your pestering this museum, you've managed to get hold of the home number.
Yep.
Despite the fact that they keep changing it.
This is why Patience doesn't understand me.
The home number of Ernest Blythe, who is the museum curator.
Yes. Pretend you're calling from across the pond. And then the time difference will make sense.
Oh,
right?
clever.
Yeah.
It says, hello, what?
Hi there. Is that Ernest?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jenny Jones of Jenny's Gems. You've probably heard of it.
No, what gems? It's
Yeah.
stones. Okay. Look,
Yeah, like
it's
gems
very.
of
Do you know
knowledge,
what
'cause
time it
it's-
is?
Yeah.
How did you get my home number?
I got it on Google.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
I just Googled the best Egyptology museum ever, and it came up with this number. I am so sorry. What time is it there?
That seems like a weird way to use Google. Look,
I find that also vague and unconvincing.
very early. I'm sorry. You're in America.
Oh, is it? Oh, shucks. I didn't even think of the time difference. It is like dinner time here. Although I suppose that's also probably quite rude that I called you in the middle of dinner time. But anyway, it's not dinner time there, is it? So it's absolutely fine that I rang.
Okay, so you have some stones, some gems or something to you want us to look at? I'm not sure.
Gems of wisdom.
So, perhaps call back to the museum and during business
no,
hours.
No. I just need to find out about the Egyptology exhibit
You having a stroke?
had old. Oh, you have hold it? You were on.
That.
Oh no.
Little.
The Egyptology exhibit closed like 6 months ago.
Yes, exactly that thing. Well, I was meant to bring my daughter to it because she's very into Egyptology. And I just wanted to know, since we weren't able to make it, we ran into visa problems. But so could you my daughter is very sick and she just really wants to know all that you can tell her about the Egyptology, because it's like a Make-A-Wish thing. It's that she just really wants to hear. This got really dark. My poor little girl. I can't believe I'm using her in this way. What kind of pie?
I'm going to need a contested roll on this. I'm going to be rolling. I'm going to be. He is. I mean, you've got a good sub story. I will give him only a +3 to whatever I roll, to the roll.
Really?
How would you like to approach this?
I mean, I feel like I'm trying to be forceful about it. I'm certainly not being very careful.
Forceful makes sense.
Yeah.
Busy trying to force him into complying with whatever it is you're about.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So his hostility is
Good catch.
is at 4. So it's a +1 on the dice, +3. So he's at a difficulty rating of 4.
Okay.
All right.
Be good. I'm at a 3.
3 total.
3 total.
Okay, you can succeed at a major cost, or if
That's
you
what I
wanted
was
to try
thinking.
invoking
I got my
something.
aspect, stubborn mama bear, and I'm using my children.
You don't understand how sick she is.
She's so sick, and the only thing that brings her joy is the thought of Egyptology. But she can't understand your funny accents. So if you explain it to me, and then I'll translate and tell it to her. I'll write it all down. If you can just be very specific about what it is that you've got or that you had, and I will write it all down, and then I'll tell my little girl, and she will be ever so grateful, sir.
If you want to spend a fate point to push it into success, I will allow it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
So I fix it into 1 over, so that is a success.
Nicely done.
Warren is just watching this entire thing like, what the fuck is going on?
He's just he's very cranky, but also the story's sort of getting to him. So he's like, I'm really sorry for it. The truth is that the exhibit didn't open because the artifacts never arrived.
Oh, well, that is a shame. What happened to them?
Oh, we're not really sure. We know that they left from Dover, but after that, somewhere along the road, they just disappeared.
Oh, well,
The truck never even made it here.
Oh. And you don't know what happened? Did the truck get found anywhere?
I know the freight company just kind of disavowed from it, and they just stopped communicating with us. For all we know, they stole everything.
So you entrusted them with this precious cargo, and then they just foxtrot Oscared away.
I guess.
Oh, well, that is just not right. That is not right at all. You should sue them.
Yeah, well, we're looking into it.
Okay, well, anyway, what was it that was meant to arrive?
And there was a tomb was revealed. It was in a very unusual place, so no one was expecting to find it there. So we were able to get some of our people there first. So just sort of a sarcophagus and some the accoutrements that were buried with them.
Who was in the sarcophagus? Do you know?
No, we're not sure. That was kind of part of this kind of unnamed tomb, just sort of in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, aren't they usually, like really important people that
Yeah,
who
that's
they were?
that's the exciting part. We
So-
were trying to get hold of it before anybody even really knew it existed.
Oh, so do you think it was someone important, or was it just some guy?
Well, I'd say we've got people still over there on the site.
What are their personal home numbers?
I don't think they'd appreciate me giving those out. Look,
Oh, but it's for my mom.
She loves changing numbers.
I'm very sorry for your troubles, but I think I've indulged this
Sorry,
long enough.
I got so carried away with my love for my child, and I gave that very awful request. So there was a sarcophagus. What else was involved? Was there any sort of
I don't have
hieroglyphs on it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard there was definitely
Were there any pictures taken of the objects?
not that I have. I don't have the manifesto in front of me. It'll be at the office, so I don't know. There were a number of pieces,
but
5 or 6 larger pieces.
Were there pictures taken of them that you had?
I don't. Yes, probably at the office.
Yeah, could you email them over to me?
I can. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so write this down. Okay, so Jenny's Gems, JENNYS @gmail.com.
Gems with a J.
You got that?
I've got it.
Okay, so what I need you to do is I need you to go to your office, Sugar, and then I just need you to send those files over just so I can see it. Oh, so you're gonna do that, right?
I'll get someone to do it. I'll get one of my people to do it.
Amazing! Oh, you are such a sweetheart. One last question: were there any cats involved?
I believe there was a large cat motif to the temple, the tomb.
Oh, go on. Tell me more. Tell me everything.
Well, I don't know. I was waiting to get hold of the pieces and look, I haven't been out there myself. I'm not much of a field man.
Yeah, but surely they told you what was in it.
In what?
Did they just tell you there's a large cat motif,
Well, yeah,
or did they
amongst
tell you any more
the
details
hieroglyphs
about it?
and the statues and the I want to say filigree, but I don't know if that's the right word. I think that's close to the word I'm thinking of.
Sure, that works.
Calligraphy?
No.
Like carvings.
Yeah, carvings and the general design.
I don't think so. Anything else? You're doing really well, Jay.
Oh, thank you.
Also telling me he's a shit historian and he sucks.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Hi. I mean, sorry, I was listening to everything you were saying.
Okay. Yeah, he was just continuing to talk.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. If you could get your assistant to send those over. Again, can you read that address back to me just so I know you got it?
Jenny's Gems with a J
Mm-hmm.
at gmail.com.
Oh, you are a treasure. Thank you so much. When can I expect that?
I imagine during business hours.
Your business hours or mine?
My business hours.
Oh, so like 2 hours from now.
Like 4 hours from now.
Oh, the time difference. I keep forgetting, sometimes it's 5, but then sometimes it's 4, and, every so often if it's
Yeah,
like
sometimes it's lots of times. Good night.
Well, that sounds like it went swimmingly.
I love you.
Love you, bye.
Jennifer. Love you, bye. Well, very
Plot
well
twist,
done.
that was Tony.
The whole time.
Doesn't even recognise his own wife's voice.
He's been complaining every night. He's been like, oh man, those Egyptian cat artifacts went missing, and you're like,
Yeah, sure.
You don't hear him for a second. He's been like, oh man, sweetheart, we've lost this really sinister mummy, and you're like, honey, can you not distract me while I'm vlogging?
Does Tony actually have all the answers? Should we call him?
Should we call Tony?
I mean,
let's just call people.
I feel like that's. I feel like if Tony doesn't even recognise that his own daughter is or is not that sick, he's not going to have answers for this.
That's why he was so affected. He was like, I didn't even know Juniper was unwell.
I knew she had that head cold last month, but I did not realize it had progressed.
That was a reaction to being near gluten briefly.
She She is vegan and celiac. It is very hard to cook for her. That's why we have so many recipes on the blog. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
For the love of God, what do I see in the alley?
What are we?
That
No,
was a callback.
that was a callback.
Confusing.
So it seems like we have a sarcophagus from an unknown tomb, along with 5 or 6 larger pieces that were also excavated. One of which was or many of which seem to share with this large cat motif. Now, obviously, there are no pictures for 4 hours, and this has the vibe of something that needs to be done by the dawn.
Oh.
Having thought about it, this was very well maintained, this box. I mean, it looks like somebody's been taking really good care of it. And this cat, I mean, is it particularly sinister? I mean, of course it was contained in a box that was bound, it was contained in a box that was said to bind it, but I mean, plenty of things are just sort of kept in boxes until they're of use. I mean, the worst that it did to us is try to run away from us. My working theory at the moment is that this cat was to occupy the role of a guard or guide to a spirit of the dead, and really the thing we should be worried about is not the cat, it's what it was supposed to be keeping on the right side of reality.
Question for you, Warren. How are your hacking skills?
Oh yes, like the movies.
It would take so long to wait for them to email us those
very long
pictures. If you
time,
could just
yes.
dip your hand in and grab them.
Yeah,
You
crack
do
the
know that's
mainframe.
not how hacking works, right?
I've seen the films. I know how it
Yes,
works.
we've all seen them.
It's not.
You just go, I'm in.
Yes, exactly.
Sure, and next I suppose you'll be wanting me to zoom in on a picture to enhance it and make it more pixelated. That's not how hacking works.
Listen, Warren, I'll be honest with you. You know us by now, and we know you. You're the only one who has any hope of getting us those photographs or any more information about what we're looking for. We really need you on this one.
Patience has been in the background just like making things and just kind of munching on a biscuit, just like says, the abandoned truck in woods.
I'm sorry,
A dead man in front.
darling.
I saw it on one of my drives once.
Where?
Recently?
Close?
Not recent. It's I don't know.
Where?
How long ago, darling?
It seemed not worth reporting.
What was the method of death?
I turn incredibly slowly towards Patience with
You're a medical woman.
me.
Did you ascertain the method of death?
No, you didn't get too close.
I see. The truck
Yes,
crashed
wouldn't-
in the woods.
Yes, wouldn't want to get too close to a corpse as a doctor, would you?
Could have disease.
She's right. She's
Good
a very
point.
experienced doctor.
I am immediately cowed by the look.
I mean, we should go and investigate. If this thing was, if it was an accident, but this is the thing I don't understand. Presuming that this truck, which, darling, thank you so much. Do you know I really do adore you? You make
Move it.
every day of my life brighter and more full of sunshine.
It's the leather, isn't it?
Yes, but also your heart
Don't
and
need
brilliant
that in my
brain.
head.
But it is more than slightly the leather. But you know that about me. We've been in love for 40 years and married 40 years, in our hearts at least. Legally only for the last 20 or so. But either way, my point remains. I don't think that truck crashed accidentally. You remember the drag marks in the cellar?
Yeah.
Something brought it down there.
Mm-hmm.
Which means somebody must have what the rest of the contents of that truck.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps somebody just threw that thing down there thinking it wasn't of use. Which means something or someone around here has the 5 to 6 exhibits, which could really make my museum on the map.
How are you, Professor?
Think of the coup! It would be a marvellous thing for us all to see. We don't get much international history.
And solving the ghost problem.
Exactly, yes, the ghosts, yes,
Mhm.
yes, definitely the ghosts. What do you think, Patience? Where should we start? You're always good at finding things. You always find my keys and my glasses when I lose them. And you found that dead man one time. Actually, more than once now, I think. Do you know, you're very good at finding corpses, actually, darling. Have you ever thought about moonlighting for the police?
Dangerous town. You'd be surprised.
Well, I'm glad to have you at my side.
I can show you where truck is.
I mean, that
It's
might
not
be a good
much
place
to
to
look
start.
I assume, have you looked in the trunk? Is it empty now?
It looked abandoned and empty from what I
Yeah.
could tell.
But perhaps there will be drag marks.
Yeah, potentially. Who knows? 3 months ago.
Well then, to the truck. Darling, get the motorcycle. I'm riding in the sidecar.
Are you actually going yourself, or you're sending your clone?
Clone's probably a wise move.
Probably.
Darling, do you still have your clone?
Oh, it's at work, but yes.
It's a...
I just log in here and I don't need to bring it home.
I see, yes, of course. Well, yes, I think we should all send our clones to go and investigate the truck.
It's at work in that old submarine pen in romance.
Just clobbering someone to give up the details to a spy plan.
It'd be very inefficient if your clone was at your house and you had to log in and then commute to work.
Sorry, the commute was terrible. Yeah, that's fair.
Just why are the punches going so slowly? Bad Wi-Fi.
It's more of just a push at this stage. This whole clone business has really taken the joy out of being captured and tortured.
Moving
Anyway.
So patients with Camellia in the sidecar. I'm sure the rest of you can get into Jenny's minivan, which you actually must have.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. It's probably
People
massively
carry on.
roomy in there. There's like 12 seats.
Oh yeah, and there's screens on the backs of all of the...
You just watch an old Scooby-Doo episode.
Yes!
So you're taking your. Are you returning to the library to get your clones, or just going as you are?
Let's send our clones, I think.
I am now occupying Warren Charlie.
Warren Charlie.
Yes, I know, because you're wearing proper stockings.
He's a bit rough and ready. Warren Charlie hasn't been field tested yet.
But at least his arm is the normal length.
Yeah, for now.
But I also feel like the he doesn't have the compressed air needed to do the grappling hook thing.
Yeah. He doesn't have the upgrades.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, you can return to the library, get kitted out, and head off to take you to the crash that lead you to where there's like a little side road. And she says, just an hour. I watch road.
Oh, thank you, darling. I give her a kiss on the cheek, and I turn to Warren and kind of give like a jovial laugh and say, I guess we didn't need you after all. Come on.
And she it just pinches you on the bum as you go.
Darling, I'll be home later.
She turns.
I love my wife so much.
She turns back around to kind of guard the road, and you guys hear this. So she walk away. She's like, oh, somebody stand on a twig. Somebody snap a twig.
Is it a
Poor thing.
or
Small, just.
is it a pistol or a pump
Like
action?
someone stood on twig.
Poor patience has arthritis. It really is getting to a painful stage. Right?
If Warren were suddenly feeling very self-conscious, he would probably just be banging his head against a tree. But it takes him a little while to catch up with the rest of you.
So you follow down to where this truck is just kind of parked. It doesn't like it was like it crashed or anything. It's just like it's just taken this little side road. This is honestly a bit too small and rough and ready for it. And it got basically as far as it could until it pulled off just into the tree line and just stopped there. The back is wide open and it is just look empty inside. As you move around, you can see a corpse, but more specifically like a decimated skeleton in the front. Like something that looks like it's been there for a very long time, like possibly like hundreds of years. It's very strange. That's kind of like just there in the driver's seat. You can kind of see like, this is a bit weird. Maybe you can see how someone might be like, no, I'm just going to leave this one alone.
Is there like a manifest or a shipping form?
Yeah, you poke through the front, you can find like this kind of this.
I don't care about
manifesto.
skeletons. Let's go. Actually, I do. Into the heritage bag you go.
This ancient skull.
I was
My
going
museum.
That belongs in my museum.
I was going to say before that happens, do we or anyone who doesn't want to desecrate corpses? Do we notice any are there any bullet holes in the windshield, or does this skeleton have any remnants of clothing or anything like that?
It has tattered and kind of mouldy and kind of just aged and old clothing, but it looks like relatively new. Just looks like it might have just perished out here.
Sure,
Does
but
it look
there's
like the normal uniform of like a shipping driver?
Just kind of like a jumpsuit thing with a jacket.
yeah, but there's
I
no
guess.
but there's no company logo or Royal Mail symbol or anything.
No, obviously there'll be something, but it's just like a standard kind of.
But it'll have faded.
Yeah. It's nothing unique. But there's obviously there's a company name and stuff on the manifesto.
Sure.
It did seem to have a dozen or so items in it.
But no bullet holes.
No, nothing
No.
obvious.
Glove compartment.
Yeah, it's full of bullet holes. It's
Something was trying to shoot its way out.
shot out of the comfort. No, just kind of normal stuff you expect to find in the cab, unless anybody would like to spend a fate point to find something unique in the cab.
Yes, I think I would. I would like to find. I can't just say something incriminating, can I?
No, you can dictate as much as you like what this thing is.
Yeah, I think I would like to find maybe like a wodge full of cash in like a brown envelope that's been shoved in the glove compartment with a stamp on the front.
Sure.
With like an unusual
Yeah,
symbol.
so-
No,
That's been-
it's not tender anymore because there's bullet holes through it.
That's like been very hastily wrapped up with like parcel tape or something.
Yeah. So something that like it clearly is way too much for a driver to have, and maybe something that suggests that like his diversion from the route wasn't necessarily accidental.
Sure. So you open up the glove compartment to look for this manifesto, and you find it. As soon as you take it out, underneath the manifesto is this brown paper package with like a wax seal stamp on it, and what looks like a bloody handprint, as if something that might have been holding it at one point. And you see the manifesto, but kind of like that takes your intrigue. So you take this brick out and like tear the side slightly, and it's just packed full of money.
Nothing in here. No.
Nothing here that doesn't belong to the museum.
This belongs in my bank account. No, I'll take these both out and show everybody. Ratman, can you smell anything unusual about this blood?
I think that one's law is getting like more complex by the
Use your magic nose, Ratman.
Ah yes, Ratman.
I'm just gonna.
With the powers of neither a rat nor a man.
As I am a woman who lives in a van. Just a nice camper van in the woods.
I just don't shower. Everyone just calls me names.
You're like, Ratman, use your psychic smell.
Look, I just don't shower. There's no need to misgender me.
Oh, sorry, Rat Woman. I prefer Rat
No, I
Woman.
prefer Ratman.
Okay. I'm here to support you on your journey. You go, Ratman.
My pronouns are Ratman. Oh God.
Do
I'm
I
sorry.
have?
Do you have
Can I
super smell powers?
Do you have a free aspect?
Could you at least age it, or sort of tell me vaguely? Is it fresh blood? How
It's
long's
not
it
fresh,
been
it's
there?
very dry.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sorry, Ratman. You're once again.
Basically, she went, Professor went, smell this. You went, okay, wait, what am I doing?
Fair enough. And I took that.
Could your last stunt just be carbon dating of the nose?
It's exactly 52 days old.
Actually, we really shouldn't give Ratman a super sense of smell, because how horrible would that be?
Yeah, no.
To be like
I know.
someone canonically stinky.
Yeah.
Maybe Ratman does have an incredible sense of smell, but the stink cancels it. It's like a protection for him.
No, or maybe it's just, like how you hear yourself differently to how everyone else hears you.
Yeah.
So too, you don't really notice your own scent, but you notice other people's.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So
Anyway, the point is, if it smells of anything woody, as I live in the woods, maybe I pick up on it. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, I'll allow that.
Okay.
What kind of roll would you like to make for that? I'm just going to use the ladder for this one.
what kind of roll would I like to make for that? Clever, yeah.
unless,
Like I'm carefully sniffing.
or I was going to say,
Yeah.
or you could just be forceful and just go.
Disintegrates.
You just shove your nose right through the cash.
We're not puffing the blood.
So I think I could be
Not with that
careful,
attitude.
because I'm focusing. I'm being careful.
Just like
with
giving you a bit of like,
pick it. Yeah, tasting it a little bit.
Oh.
Okay,
That's good.
+1, +3, so 4.
4, so that's a great result. So you take it and you take your time to kind of examine it and kind of pick around it to see like what's blood and what's possibly dirt. And you're kind of like, there's a peaty smell to it, and some of these chunks have a smushy muddiness to them that does sound like it's kind of like there's some peat bogs nearby that lead into a kind of They're kind of on the edge of the like little lake systems out here in the woods. You feel like, this is sort of got that kind of smell to it. You're very familiar with these woods and the smells of the soil. It's actually worked.
And thus the Ratman lore expands.
This smells of peat bog.
Who?
Peat bog.
I hate him.
He's always in those swampy places. Never know what they're called though. Ah yes, the ancient
Who's
peat
on
bogs.
first?
Wait. He's got a WordPress as well.
Peat blogs.
Peat bogs, peat blog.
He blogs just about peat. the compost.
I hate
Famous
and
pizza
love it
around
so
the world.
much.
Famous pizza around the world, but it is, instead of like Peter Andre, it's like different types of dirt.
I'm gonna pull it up for you and see if there's anything relevant on it.
Please, yes.
Peat Bog's Peat Blog. Did I find anything interesting on it?
Okay, I will allow.
I have now
Make a roll.
I will allow someone to spend a fate point to create the NPC Pete Boggs.
I was joking, for the love of God, I was joking.
Never joke.
I mean,
So suddenly this all kind of clicks into place, and you're
It's
like,
meant to be a witty pun of some sort.
there is a guy who lives in Gravesmark
Smells like peat bogs.
called Pete, but everyone calls him Pete Bog because he cultivates, and you've run into him a few times. Yeah, you've run into him a few times. He's kind of a bit of a conservationist who kind of looks after the bogs and the wetlands around the area. And he does have, peat bogs, Pete's. What was it?
Peat bogs.
Peat-
Peat blog.
Pete's
Pete
blog.
Boggs.
Pete
Pete
Blog.
Blogs.
There is a bit of a mouthful, but he's not like an internet savvy. But yeah, he does some
What if his is an
conservation
Insta?
around the area.
I'm sorry, Kristian. What if his is a super modern Insta?
Yes.
Like his is actually incredible. He's like a 60-year-old man, but he's like so tech savvy.
Beautiful photography of the bogs.
He's a TikTok. He's on Twitter. Like
Oh, I'm into you find like you've heard of this guy. You find him. He has like several thousand followers.
Somehow.
Pete Boggs, Pete Blog.
Peat bogs, peat
I
blog.
like to think that the big controversy around Pete Blogs, Pete Bog is that
Peat
some
Blog, thank
Peat
you.
bogs,
The
peat blog.
confusion.
is that people
Pete Blog.
find out that his original surname was actually Marsh.
Yeah. So he is. He exists in the town.
Excellent. Well, you said it smelled like peat bogs. Peat bogs, peat blogs.
Well, you know who the person to consult about peat bogs is?
Who's that?
Peat bogs.
Really? Now, where do I know that name from?
From Pete Bog's Peat Blog.
Oh,
Get to the UK of his
Yeah,
Instagram.
I've got it here.
Thank
See, you
you.
can see that he has thousands of followers. And you're like, oh,
I
okay.
aspire to be Pete Bog's level of fame.
I mean, that's very beautiful. It doesn't look much like yours, dear. It's very nice.
No, see, this is Instagram.
Ouch.
I use WordPress. They are very different.
I see different formats.
Different art forms,
I
really.
see.
Yeah.
Well, very
I
nice.
had-
It's got
I had
one
back-
where he's doing some dance challenge in the middle of the bogs. I don't know what any of the TikTok dance challenges are, but
He's
there's
doing the
bound to be
Wednesday
one.
dance.
Yeah.
I head back to Dr. Patience Whiffsby and just beg her to shoot me in the head.
She does. It's time for Warren Delta. No one notices. This is what happens to Warren Charlie. We just hear poof, and it's like, oh, someone must be clay pigeon shooting.
Please, can we
finally,
move on?
wait, where's Warren? And just Warren Delta comes out. He's like full on Pinocchio level. Like, clay.
Cool. Yeah, you haven't actually seen Pete around for a little while. Every now and then you do see him about in the first. Yeah, I don't think you can't remember the last time you've seen him.
Okay.
But he has a house in town.
Okay, so I haven't seen Pete around for a while. I normally see him around the peat bogs. So maybe we should go to his house.
I think that's a great idea.
Do you know where his house is?
Oh, he's got a picture of it right
No.
here. Do you know this one?
Oh, you know that one. You know the town.
I'm showing
You
you a
can
picture
find
of his
it.
front door. it like has visibly his address on it. He's not very internet security. It like has his mail, like the number of his house and everything.
or it's like it's a picture of him like, and just like the like with the house number, but then the street name is just very obviously reflected in a car window or something.
Yeah.
My goodness,
I think it's a yellow door as well. Sorry.
is that the house next to the White Horse pub?
I think it is.
Wow! That's
Well, let's
nonsense,
go.
isn't it?
Well, it's nearby. It's not next to, but it's like just the street. It's a detached house, so it's quite a nice property.
That's Pete Boggs. He had so much in ad revenue.
Yeah, he seemed to. Yeah, he does quite well for himself.
Yeah.
So the 4 of you head off. Well, the 5 of you head off. Motorcycle and minicar.
Minivan.
Jesus. Motorcycle and minivan heading off into town to get to people. So you wait till like the sun has risen, so it's a reasonable time in the morning. You don't want to bother him too early. But you get to his house. You've been looking at it on Instagram, but once you get there, it is not like the Instagram. It is overgrown. His garden is out of control. It looks dirty, like the windows haven't been cleaned for a while. The curtains are all closed. It just looks like not as pristine and nice. And you do notice if you look through Instagram that he hasn't posted in like 3 months. And his last few posts were like, he hasn't been physically in one of his pictures for well over 6 months.
Is he okay?
Don't think so.
And when did the artifacts go missing?
3 months.
If you listen to the phone conversation, he did say
6 months.
He did say 6 months that the exhibit. I had to close the exhibit.
Which would fit within our timeline. Can we have brought the cat in the like sidecar? So we've got the cat in the
The
box.
statue cat. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Right, let's head in then.
Let's go in.
Knock, knock, knock.
You wait for a while.
I punched the door. Kick the door in.
Oh, you could get to pick it.
Now I can.
You're actually going to?
Yes, I kick in his door. For
Yeah,
history!
You learned it
okay.
from Patience Whiffsby from those
This-
self-defense classes she took.
Patience is coming over with a cloned key. And she's looking over and it's like, oh, never mind.
She goes, oh, I'm suddenly so horny right now.
Camellia is not seen for the rest of the adventure. Thank you, and good night, everybody.
we must away.
When you explained the whole writing someone out of the scene mechanic, Kristian, this is not what I had in mind.
I'm going to survive this scene in bed.
That is 100%. If I need to get out of this scene,
Yeah.
by the way, I am leaping into Patience's arms and we are driving off into the sunset.
Valid.
So are you going to kick open the door?
Yes, absolutely.
I think this is not your natural forte.
Well, I have a +2 to forceful.
Okay.
I've got that. But I would agree with you. It is a full-on door, and I am 60-something years old.
Yes, I'm going to ask for a roll, and we'll just see how it goes. We'll go with the ladder and just see how it goes.
All right. I mean, I am my clone.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
That falls off.
Well, no, that's not the worst that could happen.
No, that's true. It's a 0.
A 0. Okay. So that is a mediocre result.
Oh, devastating.
It could be
I
worse.
think I just stubbed my toe really embarrassingly. Like, it's not a physical damage, but it is Patience suddenly no longer being excited to go to bed with me. It's like, oh.
I am no longer aroused.
So you kick really hard. The door buckles in, but it's quite a sturdy front door. It does you don't hurt yourself, but the door doesn't really move. But there's no way that nobody inside couldn't have possibly heard that.
All right.
As you kind of kick the
we
shutter
did
down your
not.
leg and you stumble backwards, and Patience just catches you and just says, "Would you like me to try?"
I
Yes, please, darling.
All right.
I was going to say I would just like at this point just walk up to the like the tiny little glass tall narrow glass window next to the door and like.
Well, I was going to say because of this this loud bang, those of you who are stood back, just an upstairs curtain just going to twitch, just open and just close again.
Does it look? Did I catch a glimpse? Is that Pete?
It's too dark inside to tell. Just like somebody looked out.
Oh,
they were ignoring the knock on the door, but it seems like there's someone kicking the door. Maybe what the fuck was that?
I mean, it's also like 5 a.m. I think this is the legitimate path. Just to be clear, I think whoever is in this house is very possibly innocent and doing sensible things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You waited to sunrise. I'm going to say you waited until like a sense. You've been about a bit. You waited a sensible hour.
Okay.
I mean, whoever
Hasn't
they are,
been 4 hours yet.
they're living in a dead man's house.
Waiting for an
Received
email. Not just yet, no.
Okay.
It's like 7:35.
Yeah. Okay. So do we all see the curtain or just you?
I think just you
Camellia and Patience don't, but yeah, you guys, the rest of you do.
Oh, is it? Okay.
As
Someone's
Patience
up,
starts, Patience like kind of straightens you up and then
Someone's
starts
up
going to the
there.
door themselves.
I dust off the tweed, dust off her leathers.
Patience takes hold of the doorknob and just kind of like places her shoulder against it. But as you guys mentioned, she goes, "Are you still going in?"
There's someone up there.
Someone there.
Hello. Yeah, they're not coming to the door.
Oh dear
Oh,
God!
better
Just
not go in.
dear God! Just open the door.
Pete, we know what you did. Come down, and we won't have to hurt you. What? What?
Threatening.
Well, I'm right, aren't I? Do we not know what he did?
Open the door.
Okay. So yeah, you would want her to open the door. All right. So Patience takes out a butterfly knife and just flicks it open, sticks it in the lock,
Yeah.
and just kind of cracks, twisting the handle at the same time, just with her shoulder, just kind of brushes the door open.
Best ever fate point spent.
It pushes up against a whole load of like mail and newspapers and things that are on the other side of the door. And you kind of feel it scraping as she pushes the door open, flicks the knife back, and tucks it into her breast pocket. And then just steps inside, starts looking about.
I, first of all, fall deeper in love with my wife. Second of all,
40
we
years.
said he was
Married
upstairs.
40 years.
40 years. We said he was upstairs, didn't we?
Yeah.
So let's go upstairs.
Peter, we know you're there, Peter. Are you gonna come down for us, or are you gonna make us go all the way up the stairs?
Pete, mate, we've got a question about bogs.
Yes, we'd love to know about marshes and whatnot.
You can hear some footsteps upstairs just moving about, the floor creaking. The house is dimly lit, all the curtains closed, there's no lighting on, there's like little peaks of sunlight coming in here and there. But it is also a mess, like no one's been tidying it for a long time. The floor is covered in filth, everything is covered in a layer of dust. It's clear that someone does move about, things are moved, things are in place. It looks like the kitchen's been used, you can see at the far end of the corridor, but it's clear this place has been in disarray for a little while.
I just walk to the bottom of the stairs and like just quite loudly go, meow.
The footsteps upstairs just stop suddenly. And there's that patter like coming closer and closer until it gets, you can hear like the movement until it reaches like round the corner at the top of the stairs, out of sight but at the top of the stairs, and you can see like a big shadow of somebody just stood up there, just kind of leaning against the wall.
Human.
Trying not to expose themselves, but obviously kind of at the edge. Looks human, yeah. Just kind of peeking around the edge, but trying not to expose themselves. So just says, "What do you want?"
I am a big fan. I just want to meet you. You have such good work. Your Instagram is inspirational, quite frankly.
What did you break into my house?
Because I wanted to congratulate you on your follower count.
That depends. Why do you have so many newspapers and letters from 6 months piled up on your front door?
Okay, well, I was going for a sneaky approach, but fine.
What's that got to do with you? Just get out.
Pete, remember me? I haven't seen you for a while. I was worried.
I kind of peeks around, kind of just going to get a look at you. Do you see an eye, and this dishevelled hair, and this probably massive beard of someone who maybe hasn't shaved or done anything to himself in the good few months? And says, "Why? Yes. No. Good to see you.
Love the new look.
Okay, you can leave now."
We really need to ask you this question about bogs.
Well, what do you need to know? No. What do you need to know?
Who are you talking to?
No one. It's just me.
And a cat?
There's a pause. There's just this one eye just around the corner, just staring down at you. There's no cats here.
I'd like to go into the kitchen, have a rifle round, see if there's like a tin of tuna, and just
Spend the fate point.
stand menacingly with a tin opener on there and be like, "If you don't bring that cat out, I will." Oh, actually, you've got dreamies,
I've got
haven't you?
dreamies,
Yeah. Wrestle. You better bring that cat out here right now, Pete.
I don't tell the cat what to do.
Rustle, rustle, rustle.
What are you trying to tempt a cat?
The cat hears a packet of dreamies.
Yeah.
So you rustle the dreamies and you're like standing there with the tuna. You hear this as if something large just jumped down from like the bed or something.
Would you say it was also a motif, perhaps? A large cat motif?
Something big and heavy.
All right.
I want to.
And then the creaking from the floor goes.
I want to lift the. I want to lift the metal cat skeleton out of the box
Okay.
and just hold it so it's visible.
Yes, I think this is. We better brace ourselves. Pete, if you want to come down here away from that frightening thing, whatever it is, then you're more than welcome. We're here to help.
You guys look around and Patience is unscrewing the silencer from her gun and just putting it away. She says it doesn't need that. It makes less accurate.
Yes, probably best.
Probably.
Wait, so you didn't react at all?
I might. Look, darling, it's been nearly 40 years. If before we get devoured by a giant Egyptian cat is probably the best time to tell you, darling. I do know what you do for work. I mean, really, I do know. I think I knew when we met, but I also know that you've chosen to stay with me instead of going back there all these years, and I know what I feel for you is real. If the person I feel that for isn't real, then I haven't seen a glimpse of anyone else I'd rather be with. So shoot the damn cat or something! Anyway, I get out my grabber.
You're trying to sort it.
Tick, tick.
Like, just as we hear like whatever it is like coming down the stairs, I'm just like, can I just clarify what exactly is it you think your wife does for a job?
She's a spy.
Oh, thank God!
Whoa!
You're a doctor and a spy.
No, I am doctor.
And a spy.
Well, not officially.
Well, what are you officially, darling?
Well, I mean, I don't technically work for anyone. I just sort of freelance a bit. It's just, a lot of skills left over from war. So,
Like a spy consultant. That's
just
very innovative of you, darling. You've always been very creative with your work.
no loyalties.
No loyalties?
No, to you. Only loyalty. You're my only loyalty.
Oh, you're my only loyalty.
Everything else is just for money. It's fine.
Shush. You and Heritage, my twin loves.
Twin, they're on the same level?
Well, yes.
You have that and you think, okay.
Professor, why are you trying to put your wife into the sack?
What? No, I'm not. No, they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
I just love them both equally.
Anyway, Pete, are you coming?
We look up and Pete's just been devoured by a giant stone cat, being flung against the wall.
For the love of God, help me!
I kiss Patience, my wife. And then, if that's okay, and then we'll get on.
I think more likely at the end of your speech, she steps over and just takes you in. She's very strong arms. This kind of sweeps you down into it.
I do the little Princess Diaries leg pop.
Oh, yeah.
This is very wholesome. Camellia is bright red.
Warren Prime is very glad that Warren Charlie is incapable of vomiting.
It's actually Warren Delta.
You're Warren Delta. My wife killed Warren Charlie.
I think I know which clone of me I am, thank you.
Warren Echo.
Yeah, Patience shoots Warren Delta in the head and drags Warren Echo. Warren Echo is just a little RC car.
With a head on it.
Just wait till Warren Foxtrot.
Just wait.
Yeah, Warren Golf is literally just a ball.
Hey.
As Pete at the top of the stairs darts across the top of the stairs, running down the upstairs corridor away from the situation as these stomping footsteps start to get closer. And in the corridor above, you see this huge, what looks to be stone, almost. What's the creature? I'm not. I want to say manticore, but that might be not what I'm thinking of.
Lion head, scorpion tail.
Yeah, and wings.
Manticore.
Manticore. I knew it. See, I know things. This kind of stone-looking manticore just steps out. It kind of looks like it fills the corridor upstairs pretty much. Its wings are folded in as it moves to the top of the stairwell and just turns around to look down at you, standing there.
I am holding the cat so it is visible. I am also standing next to Dr. Patience Whiffsby.
Have you ever considered being in a museum? Wow. You are magnificent. I mean, the stonework, the nuance, you seem so alive, even if you weren't alive. Oh, you're miraculous. Look at you.
You hear in your heads what seems to be your own voice communicating to you, just kind of like as if it's your own thoughts coming back. But you all hear like, "You have sought me out. State your business."
Well, it all started with a cat cafe, and Nigel and Alice asked us to, calm down the cats because they've been a little bit irritated lately. So we went to the cat cafe, and then we went downstairs underneath the cat cafe, and then, well, really, I mean, what do we all want? What does anyone want? Connection and friends and love and
A hot wife would be nice.
It is.
No need to rub it in.
You had fake points, same as me. You wanted to be a cool tech guy. Well, that's fine. I spent mine on a wife, and I love it.
No, I wanted to be a tech guy. I was never going to be cool.
Does the manticore look like they're reacting well to this idea of like friendship and community?
It's kind of hard to read because it literally has a stone face. It doesn't seem to react or particularly move. It's like sections do crunch about, but it doesn't seem like it's very expression.
So really, we're here for knowledge and beauty and truth. And are those things that you like too, or do you like death and destruction and things like that?
It looks you all over, but its eyes kind of scraping. You hear the stone scraping as its eyes kind of move, and it does look down to where you're holding out, defensively holding out the cat. So she says, "Well, you have captured my guardian, so it appears you have done me a great service."
Not necessarily.
That wasn't an answer. Are you pro beauty and truth in life, or death and destruction?
I am pro my own life. I see no reason to bring death unless those bring it to me.
Okay, I think we can all agree on that,
Sincerely, have you ever considered a career in the heritage arts? I mean, you are magnificent. No trust me on this, but you are magnificent. You have no interest in being sent back to death. And frankly, I mean, as long as you don't cause any harm, I don't think that, I'm sure we can strike a deal.
What
You owe
happened
us.
to the man in the truck?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah,
Right.
and
Sorry,
Oh, yeah, and all of the
that part.
artifacts.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, the manifest. I don't think I ever read the manifest.
Pete, does this money look familiar to you?
And Pete, who's like on the other side of the balcony now, it's away from the man's kind of head pokes out. His head pokes out at a low level where the banister. So it's almost like he's kind of on his hands and knees in a bowing position. It's kind of crawled forward and looks out and goes, "Oh, yeah, I should have taken that back."
Did you bribe that guy?
Yeah. Yeah,
Why?
I knew I had to.
Why?
Why?
My dreams told me.
Your dreams.
Were your dreams this manticore?
It was a lot of things. The manticore kind of looks to Pete and then looks back to you and says, "I did not kill the man. I was not the only thing in that truck.
What else was in it?
I am not sure."
I read the damn manifest. I read the manifest.
Yeah, it does have a number of statues, including this manticore statue.
Okay.
The box is listed on there, as well as a couple of other boxes, and a sarcophagus of some kind, and then a number of statues and things.
Could you tell us about who you were? I presume you spent most of your time in a tomb, is that correct?
I did.
Could you tell us a little bit more about whose tomb it was? If you don't mind. We're trying to help.
I do not believe that I could.
I see. Why is that? Is it because you don't know? Or is it because...
I am not aware of the trifles of mortals. I was placed there for my own sins, I suppose.
Have you escaped past the gaze of Osiris?
In a manner of speaking.
What were your sins?
I once lived a very decadent and exploitative lifestyle. I have been brought much lower now, reliant on this one as it turns to Pete Boggs. I forget that name.
Yeah. Why? How?
He keeps me for now. But this heritage you speak of, would that bring worshippers?
As this is going on,
Adoration?
Yes.
As this is going on, I, like, out of the corner of my mouth to Whiffsby, I just go, keep him talking. And I would like to head with the cat statue to the kitchen.
Sure.
And I would then like to find the hob.
Yes.
And I would like to put the statue on the lit hob.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna fully sell a career in the house.
Yeah.
And like what he might be hearing might be he'll be adored and worshipped. What I'm saying is he could get very good rates as a tour guide, and he could be a real attraction. I mean, the number of heritage clubs that visit from sort of the lower this county just alone. I mean, we had a minibus of 12 people the other day. 12 people. I mean, I'm certain that if you made a splash, Jenny would be happy to feature you on her blog. That's got international reach, hasn't it?
Absolutely,
Really?
it does.
And we just keep this spiel going.
You can see it's there kind of like, this could be interesting.
If you're looking for accommodation, I know a guy who sells camper vans.
I'm assuming that eventually a temple would be built for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you have to hit a few more than 72 followers for that. But
Just a few.
eventually, I think.
We can go to Bristol Temple Meads.
Oh, there we go.
I can fit you on the back of a train quite
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
Look, the thing is, if you don't call...
I'm gonna ask Warren.
I was going to say, is
you just like get a frying pan out, but the cat is like, come on, warm up.
or like even just directly on the hob. It's like
Yeah.
like
I like it.
I'm guessing water froze it, heat. Cats like heat will reanimate.
Would you like to spend a fate point to declare a story detail for this to work? I like it. I love it as an idea.
Yes, I would. My one remaining fate point.
With nearly inclusion.
Join those of us who have no faith.
Just said to don't leave me. Just said to don't leave me.
Yes.
Have your wife token.
Yes, you rush on there, just kind of light the gas hobs of the fire, just light all four and just put it in the middle.
Yeah.
And it kind of starts to warm up, and the bits of it start to break apart. It starts to kind of this kind of frozen state of it just seems to like melt, like the little hinge, like the joints of the metal that were kind of sealed over start to fall like a mechanic. It just kind of falls to pieces.
It just falls to pieces.
It looks to be at first, yes, but whatever you're doing seems to be working.
Sure. I do throughout this process. I have no idea if it will understand me, but I will probably say to it multiple times, in the hopes that one of the things will get through. I will just say to it, Warden, your prisoner is here.
All right. You're just deep in the spirit. It's going. Yes. I could be worshipped upon the grounds of heritage.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there would be an internship sort of tryout period. But once we're satisfied that your knowledge, which I'm sure is unparalleled, would be of use to the museum, then, I'm happy to extend that trial.
These tour guides are lauded, you say.
It looks like it might be too heavy or its paws too large to get down the stairs, but it's now out on the balcony as it steps kind of down to the stairs, its wings can unfold. And they are stone, but they do seem to have enough power to lift it off and give it a boost as it kind of launches down. And you guys spread out as quick as you can, so it lands on the ground floor. When you guys are now surrounding it, Patience is there I mean, this is a big stone thing. I'd have a gun. Is that helpful in any way?
I'm going to keep talking about like the wonderful. There is a national trust. If we get accredited by them, we really could go some big places.
The hob is on full blast.
As you're selling it, once all the pieces have dropped down into a little pile once again, you turn all the hobs off and just kind of stand there, tentatively, just watching until they start flicking, and then they start to assemble themselves on the hob once again into this full cat. You two, in your pockets, like something just rips out the side of your pocket as the hole rips out. These two pieces just tear out, and the manticore just kind of stares as this thing bullets just kind of fly through into the kitchen. They go in a straight line, so they pierce through the walls, smash through. As you hear this noise, it goes as they attach to this cat.
So heritage.
Fascinating. Clifton, where Lady Nancy Astor used to live. I mean, really, pew pew.
And from the kitchen, you hear this. As suddenly this cat just launches itself off the stove, runs round to the corridor as the manticore creature looks to it, and there's this grumbling, kind of grinding of stone emits from inside of it as the cat goes, launches itself at the manticore, and as it jumps into the air, it kind of expands outwards into this like cage-like, like net-like contraption of metal that just sloops over the manticore's face, and the manticore rages up as this net encompasses it and then just squashes it down into this little lump of metal. It's got clunk, 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 clunk.
Well, a career in the arts isn't forever.
Like a Pokeball. And upstairs, Pete kind of looks around the corner and goes, "Hello, what's happening?"
It's all right. The manticore's gone. It's gone back to the afterlife.
As Patience picks up the
I
ball.
can't do it not because Warren won't.
Thank you! This is going to be the best new exhibit. I mean, it's look at it. I mean, it used to be a manticore, and now it's just a lump of metal.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna believe that, darling. I'm really sorry.
You hear that strange voice that you've heard a number of times throughout the night, Professor. It's definitely not Warren, because Warren would be above such puns. But you do hear a voice that says...
I grip the metal in my hand, and the second I hear this voice, I'm going to throw it at wherever this voice is coming from.
Looks like curiosity killed the cat. I exit the scene for no reason.
I will come and see this exhibit.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
As Pete tentatively comes down the stairs, and you guys kind of, he's very like shaking, kind of clearly not been looking after himself for months. So you guys sort of take him aside and kind of,
I'd like to
take
slap
care
him
of
on
him.
the back and say, Pete!
he dies instantly. That was the last. All you needed was the only thing you.
Your
It's
hand
so
goes
frail.
through like paper.
No, you guys you can kind of nurture Pete back to health and kind of like get around. He's got a number of quite a lot of Egyptian stuff in his house. He's about researching something for this entity that was keeping him, sort of forcing him to be its guardian essentially. And he tells you what he knows.
Is everything in the shipping manifest here?
No. Not even close. There is another box here, another puzzle box here, and the manticore was here, but that is it. And as you guys sort of start piecing through things and figuring out what's going on, across town, a dapper-looking man in a very smart suit, is kind of exiting a local fudge shop with a kind of a box of fudge.
Can it be
Just
Glenn,
kind of
please?
picking away, just kind of with a big smile on his face, got a very neatly trimmed kind of goatee beard, and his hair tied up into a kind of a high ponytail that comes down the back. He's kind of walking around, kind of merrily, kind of gets a kind of itch on his arm, and he pulls up his sleeve, and there's a series of hieroglyphic style tattoos, all very faded, but the one that looks like a manticore kind of darkens. And he goes, interesting. Pulls the sleeve back down, continues on his way with his fudge. And that's where we're going to end for this game of fate, the copycat haunting.
Yay! That was really fun. fun. I love that.
Great.
That was so good.
I
want to play the rest
Well,
of it.
I leave it
seems-
open-ended.
It seems that this manticore is just one of several such creatures at the bottom of a pyramid.
Pyramid scheme.
That's nothing.
It's a pyramid scheme.
We bring the pyramid, you bring the scheme.
Yes, that's the end of the episode. There will be an outro, I'm sure, by future Kristian, but
How do I feel,
he can get here in
hate
a
that
minute.
guy.
Screw that guy. He can get here in a minute. I want to just like debrief with you guys. How was that? That was
It was really fun.
That was very
Yeah.
good.
I like that.
I
And I-
like that I used all of my fate points.
hell,
Yeah.
that's what they're for.
Nothing left.
I really enjoyed that epilogue. Like,
Yeah,
That was very cool.
Really cool.
I feel like it had a really good.
I also like that it was it wasn't like really a fight. It was just oh, I've had an idea. Quick, make something up.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, you saved the day there.
That was really, really fun. I really
Yeah.
liked all the different characters, and they all had their like moments to shine. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I just loved the manticore. Was fucking terrifying, wasn't it? I was expecting it to be like a mummy, and it's like, oh yeah, great, right. But having this just like the sound of his
manticore.
stone
How do you even
eyes.
kill that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I also
With an incredibly large paper manticore.
Foiled it.
I also loved having a wife. Thank you very much for making that
amazing.
the best.
Like
face point I've
it's
ever
also
made
like
was
that's
them.
just like that's the best name in anything ever.
Dr.
Dr. Patience
Patience
Whispy.
I hope that she has her own completely different genre of fate adventures where like we are wives,
Yeah.
but she goes to like her gritty heist team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like this horrible
yeah.
grim dark Blades world, and then
Yeah.
occasionally we come back together and it's like a lovely time.
And your relationship is so wholesome. It's just like you're both having so really nice. It's so
It
nice.
was really nice. It was lovely.
I loved your phone call.
Oh,
That's the highlight.
so funny.
And the
so funny,
miming.
both of you. So funny. Love that a lot. I really enjoyed the aspects as well. Often in Fate, like you start by listing a load of them, and then you end and you're like, okay, well the puzzle is like, how do I make Did You See My Exhibition On fit into this hostage negotiation
Yeah.
scenario? Did you see my exhibition on why you should let that man out of that chair and rope? But I really
No, and neither is anybody else.
I think that's one of the things I would say is superior in Fate Accelerated to Fate Core is that you can create your aspects during the game, whereas Fate Core you're supposed to create the 5 before the game starts.
see.
I
That-
like the
that
idea
is-
of being able to add it.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know, maybe it's just my personal preference for like campaigns over one shots. But like I'm now interested to see what the Fate Core character creation looks like.
Yeah,
And,
it is. I mean, it's similar, but it's
And like, is it the same sort of thing where you like? It's like, oh, okay, so ghosts are a thing, clones are a thing, Scooby Doo. Is like is the world created in that sort of similar way, or is it
that idea? Everyone bring an idea to the table. That's me, really. That's
Right.
So let's do that because but it is essentially how Fate begins. You come to the table with a character concept and an idea of your backstory, and that informs the world.
Yeah.
So you would have you would have a backstory in mind that had the ghost thing about it and had the blogger thing. So you bring those elements in your backstory. So it's slightly more detailed version of the same thing. I like the quicker way. I like it's kind of like punchier, and then we can all.
Plus,
With
I like
the-
the challenge.
with the-
I feel like having a table full of people who DM quite often as well. Like it's really, really fun to feel like I'm a part of making the world and being like,
Yeah.
oh, what about this? Oh, actually, I don't
Yeah.
love this. Let's make it together. And then
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a nice way of making
Okay.
sure everyone's invested,
I-
as opposed to having a world where it's like, oh, well, I've come up with all of this cool lore in my head, and if you roll high enough, you get to hear me monologue about it, which I do love, and don't come for me,
Yeah.
those of you who
I do
play in
love
my
that as
games.
well,
but
yeah.
I was
like,
going to
it's
say,
very
I've
much like- it's a
I've
different style,
created
isn't it?
far too many documents to not love that.
Yeah, but it's a different
it is-
style, and I feel like it
yeah.
guarantees immersion, especially in a one-shot investment in
Yeah.
your players.
Yeah, it's very different feeling like we're actually, sitting here before we even have characters,
Yeah.
bouncing ideas around and being like, this is what the story could be, and the world
Yeah.
does this, and the world does this, and
I-
then building a character after that is very satisfying.
Yeah.
There was a game of that I was playing with, so it was like I remember very specifically you were going to be in it, but you weren't there for the city creation, Vic. Which is how we ended up with one place I think called Vicky's Hill. But
I would die on that hill.
Damn right.
but like it was like a group of sort of 4 of us total or something, including whoever the GM. I think it was going to be like a Powered by the Apocalypse game, and we basically used, I think it was a method used in the Dresden Files.
Yes, was it Changeling? One of those.
Yeah, Changeling. That was it, because it was me, Nay, and JC.
Yes, I could make it.
And
because the Dresden Files were adapted to a few different systems, I think.
Yeah, because we basically used like the whole city creation method that I think came from the Dresden Files, and we just basically spent a session making up this whole city and making up there were about sort of 20 different interest points on the map, and we were all filling them in.
Yeah.
We never played a single game of that campaign, but I remember the city creation and how much fun it was.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, so I think like so you're saying at the beginning, because I have never DM'd, and I think I felt this mild panic of like, oh no, I can't just rely on the DM to tell me everything.
Yeah.
But then actually as I got into it, I was like, oh no, this is really nice to be able to actually, have ideas, and it was all, very organic. Like, yeah.
I'm really glad.
Good job, Ratman.
Yeah, good GG Ratman.
I think we're stuck with that.
Ratman.
I like that.
We heart Ratman forever.
We do heart Ratman forever. But like, I think that's
Ratman
nice,
returns.
like, you can choose if you want to like create, there's a bag of cash here, or this is how the cats work. But also like, you don't have to. You can just play a fake game as like a spectator player. As that I don't think that's how you play, but like you can just be a player who just likes this world we created and likes to play a character in this world. I think that's a completely legitimate way, and it's Fate allows for that.
Well, I definitely want to play more Fate either on this channel or on the other channel, because it is, like I say, my favourite system.
So much. Have you read the Kobolds Club setting? I so desperately want to play it again.
No, I don't think I have.
It's so good. I have the setting booklet. I will send you the PDF.
Oh, cool.
It is so good.
But yeah, so keep an eye out for more Fate. But then for now we'll cut to future Kristian to give us our reaction.
Hi, Kristian! Thanks for watching, bye!
I hate that guy.
And that was the dramatic conclusion. Apologies for the open ending. We don't currently have plans to come back to it, but it just sort of happened, just sort of came out as I was wrapping up the game. I thought, well, that's something was in my head and it just had to come out of my mouth. A weird way to say that. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this channel. Watch our other actual play stuff, the Good Society game that we've got on here, the Nice Marines, and any other bits that are coming out soon. Check out all my video rants and blogs and things about tabletop role-playing games and everything else. If you want to support the channel, you can do it to our Ko-fi page, which is linked below. I've also got a Discord server, which is linked below, where you can chat and get involved in some of our making of processes, which is could be fun. Keep an eye out for all my live events and things that I'm currently running. But thanks for watching. The end.